Introducing first, standing in the corner to my left, representing the Rexians, he hails from the Ivory Tower, the greatest mind in the galaxy, Dr. Ethan Wilde, PhD. And his opponent, in the corner to my right, hailing from the party down the block, J.T. Kasin!
Left way!
I traveled, the greatest mind in the multiverse. Traveled to meet the greatest minds in the galaxy. To meet Davros, Lord of the Dollars. To meet the Merciless. And yet I come to the New York Wrestling Connection and I find myself waiting for Godot. And that means waiting forever. Oh, all right. Instead, I see a man, J.T. Kasin. This is the intellect, a man with an IQ of 4.5 ABV. He likes to say, let's get wrecked. And I'm more than delighted to honor your indulgence. Take this from me.
I am Shane Berglund, and the Rexian invasion continues with Dr. Ethan Wilde taking on J.T. Kasin. We've got Books versus Brews.
Hey Shane, I'm back. Speaking of brews, thank you. Big shout out to JT Kasin for sharing his beer with me. This match consists of two polar opposite personalities, Ethan Wilde, JT Kasin. Two different worlds, two different dimensions, Rexians versus NYWC. And you see we're starting off with a solid hammerlock by Wilde. Kasin trying to squat his way out of it.
But they got one thing in common, that's wrestling, and that's what you're seeing right here as J.T. Kasin holds on to Dr. Ethan Wilde as he trips him down to the mat.
That was a nice move, a nice technically sound move. Look out for that when it comes to Ethan Wilde. He's a cerebral wrestler. He spent 8 years in medical school, and J.T. Kasin, he spent 8 years playing beer pong at any college campus that would have him.
J.T. Kasin is all about drinking games, but he's also all about mind games. Look at him rolling around the ring.
J.T. Kasin, he says, move in, now move out, hands up, now hands down. What are you gonna do now, Wilde?
And he catches him, big atomic drop from the coccyx to the spine to the brain.
And you see Wilde holding his head. Those shockwaves traveled all the way up that spine, just like you said. And look at this. This might be my favorite wrestling move ever in history. An abdominal stretch with a little beer sip. That's right up my alley.
And Kasin asks the referee, he wants another beer. His beer's empty.
Yeah, don't waste it. Don't waste it. Somebody could drink that, and by somebody, I mean me.
Where's my beer? And Kasin looking for his beer. He's looking for that magical case that gives him the power. And there it is. He reaches down deep inside the case and he gets a beer in his hand. But Dr. Ethan Wilde is showing him beers aren't going to get you anywhere, and he takes it out of his hand.
And Triple B, the beer belly bandit, Kasin prioritizing the beer, but at what cost strategically as we see Wilde try to scoop up the big man? And Kasin just powers him, and that is what it's all about. Kasin with the power game versus the cerebral abilities of Wilde.
But again, he goes for that beer.
Where are these beers coming from?
Forget about the beer, JT Kasin. You gotta win this. You gotta win this for the NYWC. And look at him firing up. That's like Popeye spinach to Kasin.
And you gotta believe that Wilde does not like, oh, what do we got? Firemen's carry airplanes, spin.
And Kasin take him on a wild ride right there. He's out on his feet.
You know, that's really impressive for a man who's drank 3 beers in the middle of a wrestling match to do. Just spin around, not get dizzy, and you see he's patting that belly.
Oh, big beer belly splash in the corner.
Took the words right out of my mouth. JT Kasin, the beer belly bandit, hooks him up. Vertical suplex into a gut buster. I love that. Hitting him.
And Dr. Ethan Wilde kicks out. He can't lose. He can't lose to JT Kasin. He wants to show that brains are better than beer.
Brains versus beer, and I just can't stop thinking, what is this guy a
Big kick
doctor of?
right to the midsection, and puts him over. Northern Light suplex. This is it. 1, 2, and Kasin kicks out.
Beautiful Northern Lights with a bridge, and as I think to myself, what is this guy a doctor of? I was gonna say mullets, but it might be Northern Lights suplexes.
It's a doctor of wrestling because he's pulling some crazy moves. Oh my God! Oh, he's squeezing that brain out of Kasin's head, and Kasin just flips him over.
Kasin surprising the doctor with a little technical wrestling reversal into a pinning combination. Doesn't quite get him. Both men to their feet. Knee to the midsection.
Oh, it looks like he's going for the party foul. He went for the party foul.
Oh,
he slams the big brain down to the mat. 1, 2, 3. It's time to party.
The beer gods!
Here is your winner, JT Kasin! In the corner to my left, representing NYWC, he hails from Detroit, Michigan, the miasma, Big James! And his opponent, in the corner to my right, representing the Rexians, hailing from a big place, the massive man monster, Big Callux!
We are in a land of giants. We have Big Callux taking on Big James, and these two monsters are going to go toe to toe.
Shane, there was so much size in that ring. I had to get out of there as soon as possible. You've heard of David versus Goliath. We're about to witness Goliath versus Goliath. Big James representing NYWC. Big Callux repping the Rexians. Something's got to give here.
And the question that comes to my mind, what happens when worlds collide?
Right, what do they say? The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. These guys are both of those things. So we'll see what happens.
Look at Big Callux backing him up, and Big James pushes him off.
Can we make an agreement right here to just call one Callux and one James? Because I don't want to say big for each of them right away. Is that okay?
This is a big match, but I will go with that, Pat. And look at him. He's stretching that arm up in the air, and Big Callux says, bring on the test of strength.
Test of strength, classic style. I wouldn't be surprised to see the winner rip the loser's arm off. That's how we're going to determine who wins this one.
Oh, hey, Big Callux, he's bending those fingers. And he kicks it away. And a big elbow.
Shane, I'm a little upset because not only did you call him Big Callux, you also said Big Elbow. Anyway, big shot off the ropes here. Big Callux flipping over James. This guy's showing his agility, fleet of foot, off the ropes again. Shoulder block, no one home. We're in a stalemate right now. And James saying, you know what? My turn.
And a monstrous shoulder block, and both men are standing tall.
Something's got to give here. These guys are in a shoulder block, power for power competition. Now James showing his agility.
Oh, and the Callux, he grabbed him out of midair, and James was able to wiggle his way down. A huge shoulder block sends him to the outside.
And that's the shoulder block that brought home the lunch money, and you can see that Big James is frustrated. He's the more arrogant of the two competitors. Even though he represents Earth Alpha NYWC, he expected a walk in the park, and you could see it on his face.
But just think about it, James, as he walks around, he's the tallest man there, and look, he outsmarted Callux.
You can tell that shows you everything you need to know about James's character. He's going inch for inch with Big Callux, but he resorts to a thumb to the eye.
And another monstrous forearm, and he whips him, and Callux is able to reverse it.
And James getting to the second rope, cat-like quickness, second rope clothesline. Both these wrestlers showing prolific agility for men of their size. And James off the rope, running big boot.
And he caught him, and look at him. There's no time to celebrate, James. No time to celebrate. Get on the big man.
Oh man, just a size 13 boot right across the face.
Oh, he's telling him he is the only giant in town. Don't worry about bragging, worry about pinning Callux.
This guy, James, he loves to talk. He loves to pat himself on the back, read his own press clippings, and for every forearm he throws, you can see he's throwing himself another compliment, which might not be the best way to get on that road to the W.
And Callux just comes up with a huge chop to the chest and another monster's, a forearm, right out of forearms. They're exchanging forearms. How are their heads still on their shoulders? Look at these two.
Haymaker for haymaker. Trying the running Yakuza kick. I guess that was kind of blocked by Callux. He's saying, oh, no, nobody home, James.
Oh, these
going for it again here.
They're getting physical. It's boots, it's forearms, it's punches to the face, and they want to stand tall. Who will be the true giant in this galaxy?
This match basically dead even right now. Big splash by Big James, and he's just running that shoulder right into the gut of Callux.
And Callux, look at him, he's holding that midsection. And James again, getting a little too cocky. James just worry about Callux. This man is not taking lightly. Look at him showing how tall he is, stretching that leg, just choking out Callux.
And no matter what dimension you're from, that referee, he's administering that 5 count. You better let it go by 4, 4.5, 4 3/4.
You heard that?
I felt that.
Thud.
I felt that.
And another sickening thud. Those are giant forearms coming to the chest of Callux, and he's holding on. The only thing keeping this giant up are those ropes.
You could say big. I mean, if you want to go back to saying big, I could see that you're really honoring our agreement, but
you said big 15 times. I'm staying true to this game. And look at a nice, huge, monstrous knee right to the midsection as he rolls the big man and I said it. And he stops himself from going to the yard.
Ooh.
And James just pushes him down.
Baseball slide sending Callux to the yard, but we got to take a break. Let's get a word from our big-time sponsor.
Victory is sweet in interdimensional warfare, and as you kick back and relax on Earth Chi or Earth Alpha, and you need a sweet treat, reach out to Glorious Temptations at 516-679-7777.
And as we come back from break, we see Big Callux in the yard. The tectonic plates have shifted. We don't know what's going to happen, what kind of natural disaster these two could trigger. But luckily, they didn't make their way into the yard for too long. We're back in the ring here, Shane, and we're back to the action.
James keeps on bringing the pain, and another big boot right to his chest, sending Callux down.
James really relying on that running big boot. Going for a senton, no one home. Kind of grazed Callux's hip there. Callux still hurting, still down.
James lining him up, he's lining him up, and a huge elbow, no one's home. Callux got out of the way. Callux, he's trying to get himself up, and he wants to chop down James.
James going for that running boot one too many times, and you see he's hung up on the top rope, gives Callux a window of opportunity.
Running back elbow, another elbow out of chops. He is just bringing all of the pain to James.
Callux has been focused on one goal throughout this match. He is yet to knock Big James off his feet. He's tried everything he can off the ropes 2-3 times. Finally gets it. Running shoulder block after the three-peat of rope running momentum. He's got him up. He just powerbombed him.
Powerbomb down. 1, 2. Oh, he kicks out.
What is it gonna take? I would have never guessed that either of these guys could have powerbombed the other one, but Callux taking it from his soul, generating power.
James, he's so confused. He's never been off his feet like that. He's never been powerbombed. He is just trying to get his mind set, and you could see Callux holding that back, all that strength just to get him off his feet, and he gets him and he brings him down.
What? Rotating front sidewalk slam or something.
As
And both men are down. Referee, start that 10 count, Daddy-O. Oh, and James, so intelligent, so smart with his ring savvy, rolling out to the yard. He can't be counted out. He can't be bothered. The referee tries to get him back in the ring. Guess what? He could give him 2 thumbs ups from Earth Kai, if you know what I'm saying.
And Callux, he is looking down into the yard. You want to go to the yard with the big man? You want... Oh, James with a hand right to the face.
James just going, oh, shotgun dropkick, still not getting Callux off his feet, flying clothesline. Neither of these men can get chopped down. Belly to back, snap, suplex does the job. Are we gonna get this pin?
They're flying around, they're just throwing each other out. 2. Oh, he kicks out Callux, and look at the surprise. Look at the surprise on James's face.
That was the look that was on my face. That look was literally right now on my face just then.
What is he doing here? What is he doing? He's going for a submission. He's going for that. He taps out. He taps out.
Was that a tap out?
Here is your winner as a result of submission, Big James.
You have found and witnessed this transmission of the Rexian invasion. Be sure to follow NYWC on all social media platforms, including and especially this YouTube channel. Subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of the next broadcast as the battle continues.